This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will be joined by Harley Janssen of AGI. We're going to be talking about the digital tools that are available from AGI to help you monitor your grain bins. Also, we will have a check of the weather, but first, let's take a look at the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing analysis. Tyler, what did we see take place in the grains today?
A lot of back and forth trading, a little bit all over the place. Corn ended up closing up on the day while beans kind of got punched down a little. I would love to tell you there's a great reason for the way the market's traded. There was a lot of people coming into this morning or last night actually thinking that we were going to see a huge spike up and a lot of calls for higher prices on grain because of the heat last week. I think right now you just got a lot of people not buying it yet. So, we'll just kind of have to wait and see how this plays out. And, it's probably going to require combines out in the field to try to figure out what yields are, and then the trade can adjust based on the numbers they're hearing.
And Tyler, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but at least here in the state of Iowa, our weather is going to change drastically in the upcoming days as well. Already looking to tomorrow, it's going to cool off about 15 degrees. So at least we are going to get some reprieve from this awful heat that we've had recently.
Yeah, I think, the 2 weeks ago you had extreme heat. We had it again here this past week. A reminder, I'm in Western North Dakota. We were in the 90s yesterday. I think the high so far today has been like 65 degrees. It's been cool. It rained most of the morning. What I'm hearing from a lot of the forecasters is a series of cold fronts are just going to keep passing through, which will increase some chances for some precipitation in a lot of areas, but most importantly, going to pull those temperatures down and give a reprieve. And it basically comes back to how much damage has already been done, and depends on who you talk to. Some people are saying a lot of damage has been done. Others are saying that the yields are still going to be pretty good. And, at the end of the day, I think we just got to sit back and be patient here and wait to see what the numbers actually do come in at.
And then when we talk about the crop progress ratings that will come out later today, got to imagine those are going to dip a little bit too with that heat that we have seen.
Yeah, that's the expectation. I think the range of analysts with Reuters is expecting 2% lower on corn, 3% lower on soybeans. But don't forget, last week they were expecting them to be down like 5 or 6% on beans, and the USDA only lowered them 1%. My gut feeling is that crop conditions, are slow to change this late in the year. The crop is maturing and dying as it's supposed to as it nears harvest. So I don't really know how you rate a dying crop when it's supposed to mature and turn yellow and brown this time of the year. And the second part, I'm not certain how. I think there's a time where the progress reports are important. As we hit September, I think it becomes less and less on traders' minds, and has less to do with how this market plays out here in September.
Tyler, let's switch over to the other side of the markets and what's taking place in the livestock complex.
A lot of back and forth trade in the livestock too. I feel like it's a broken record, and I just keep repeating it when it comes to the cattle. If we're not we're awfully near record high prices, and it's just tough to push them much further. But there's really no reason to push prices down. A lot of really good support lays under this market, and the fact that cow numbers are extremely tight. Feeder ready cattle, those numbers are very tight, as we've seen in placements and all that kind of stuff. So it's the cattle market's just kind of bouncing back and forth, staying within $10 of the 250 range in November feeders, and I would imagine that's going to continue until there's some other catalyst that tells us we need to go significantly higher or lower. Hogs, hogs have been kind of bouncing back and forth as well. Seasonally, we would start to see weights increase and see some pressure on price, but actually what we've been seeing is weights are dropping, especially in Iowa. My gut feeling tells me that's a factor from the heat that you guys had a couple weeks ago. And so I'm guessing we're going to see continued pressure on weights here as we go forward. The next few weeks is just going to keep total pounds of pork lower than what might have been expected.
And you bring up a good point, Tyler. Of course, we're focused on the grains when we think about the extreme heat that we've had and the drought, but that, of course, has its influence as well on the livestock side of things.
Yeah, and I that's one thing I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a little more push on fat cattle to the upside. A lot of stories of some feedlots really taking it on the chin there a couple weeks ago with that extreme heat. A lot of dead animals. Like anything, it takes a while for that to chug through the system and for the markets to realize what actually was lost out of production. So we'll have to kind of sit back and see. But yeah, the heat, not good for crops, definitely not good for livestock.
And with the hogs, Tyler, you mentioned that there's a little bit better footing. We are seeing that price slowly creep up for the lean hogs, but do you think they are getting a little bit more strength?
Yeah, they've been gaining some more strength. There's a pretty significant the cash price is at a premium to the futures price, and so anytime that happens, remember hogs are cash settled contracts. So one of two things has to happen: the cash price has got to come down to that futures price, or the futures price has got to go up. I think for a while, most traders really thought that the cash price was going to come down, and it might have. It's just really struggled the last few weeks with those lighter weights coming in and less product to send out. It's been tough to push this cash market down, and as a result, I think the futures feels like it's got to do the work for those two contracts, or the futures contract and the cash price to mesh up.
A lot to talk about after the long weekend and a short trading week this week. Tyler Schau of agmarket.net, our guest here today. Tyler, thank you so much for the time. What's the best way for our listeners to get in touch for more information?
Check us out on the internet, agmarket.net. If you want to call direct, the number 701-987-6009.
A lot of great resources for you to take advantage of there. Tyler Schau, thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn up 4.5 at 486 even. November soybeans down 4 1/4 at 1365 even. October soybean meal down $1.90 at $3.9930. October soybean oil down 49 cents at 64.26. Chicago wheat up 3 3/4 at 5.99 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 2 1/2 at 7.62 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 1 3/4 at 7.24 1/2. On the Merc, October live cattle down 20 cents at 179.95. September feeder cattle down 47 cents at 251.37. October lean hogs up 12 cents at 83.17. August pork cutout down 28 cents at 110.72. And Class 3 milk up 1 cent at 17.19. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. It's time now for a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will be joined by Harley Janssen with AGI, where we'll talk about the digital suite of tools that are available for you to help you monitor your grain bins. This is AMPM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today I'm joined by Harley Janssen of AGI.
Mark Magnuson, Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined today by Harley Janssen. We are at AGI at Farm Progress 2023. Harley, thanks for joining us here today. I know you're excited to tell us about AGI, the digital side of things with AGI Digital.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for stopping by and visiting with us. People know AGI for the things like grain handling, our Westfield augers, our MFS grain bins, but one of the things that we have is we have a suite of digital tools, a suite of sensors that we put inside grain bins, and it's a really important product to us, and I'd love to tell you more.
So what are we talking about when it comes to the digital side of what the things you can do with a grain bin? I imagine a big part of it is keeping track of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that we have is we have sensors that go in the column of grain that are inside the grain bin that measure temperature and moisture. So when we're storing grain, we want to make sure that our grain is in condition, that we don't have a problem. I want that peace of mind. A lot of times the way we get that peace of mind, though, is we crawl in the bin and look. We inspect it, we take a look at it. When we have sensors inside grain bins, we don't have to crawl inside. I farm in central Iowa with my dad and brother, and I've got kids that are on the farm with my dad, spending time with their grandpa. I don't want any of them crawling in a grain bin. And so the idea of using technology, having a sensor that is cellularly enabled, that I can look at on my phone and keep people out of a grain bin is really important to me.
So Harley, that's a great point. The safety side, that's obviously a huge benefit. How reliable, though, are those sensors? Are they able to give you a readout right away?
Yeah, absolutely. So in our bins, typically on a cable, we have a sensor every 2 feet that's reporting temperature and moisture. Every hour we update what that looks like on your mobile phone, and so you can see real or near real time what the temperature and moisture is your bin. We set it up and can configure it to set off alerts when certain temperatures are hit or when there's certain thresholds that you care about. You can get that little ping on your phone and that says take a look at me, and you're able to monitor that remotely.
So Harley, is this something you would recommend then just across the board for all farmers because of that safety factor?
Yeah, 100%. Whether it is on corn and we're trying to take a little bit more moisture out of the corn, or whether it's on soybeans and we're trying to put a little bit of moisture back in after we've harvested some dry beans. We apply this in specialty crops, things like popcorn and rice, pistachios. It's been used in a lot of different applications, and when you fundamentally peel back some of the unique features we can do and you get to the basis, the basic thing is we keep people out of grain bins, and first and foremost, super important to us.
So Harley, you said monitor that on your mobile phone. We know you can now do that with things like a doorbell camera.
Yeah.
I mean, you can monitor the temperature in your house and control it. Are those tools available when it comes to your grain bin? Can you monitor things real time at a distance like we've talked about with those other products?
100%. That's a perfect analogous concept of being able to say, okay, I can open up my phone, I can see a 360 3D understanding of what's going on in my grain bin, and I can start being alerted to when hot spots start popping up. If I have a hot spot pop up, I can also start to kick off things like managing how my fans are turning on or off based on the goal that I have. So if my goal is to bring down some moisture out of my corn, or if it's to put a little moisture back into soybeans, we have a support team that helps farmers with this, but it's fairly self-serve. They can set those targets, they can configure it the way they want, and they can watch it remotely on their phone. So if they happen to be that farmer that spends a little time in Arizona during the winter and wants to check on their grain bins, they can do that every morning.
We know farmers are always checking the market, so they'll just add in the grain bin to it as well. They can check on both at the same time. Harley, what else has you excited about things that you're able to do now digitally for AGI?
Well, I think beyond having the ability to have remote visibility, it's now then taking some of that data and putting it to work for you. Now, instead of me doing what we've historically done, where we just flip the switch on the bins and leave them run for a few weeks in the fall to cool things down, we actually allow automation and allow algorithms to help us determine, is the outside air that we have right now productive air in order to achieve my goal? And if it's not, the fans won't turn on. If it is productive to my goal, the fans turn on and off automatically. So if it's 2 a.m. in the morning and the conditions are right for conditioning my grain, the fans will automatically turn on. When that condition is either met or when the air is no longer productive, they automatically shut off. So again, some of those same concepts that we know and love about home automation applied to a grain bin, and applied to that asset that we work all year to put all this grain in the bin. Why wouldn't we do more to protect it and remotely view it?
Harley, have your customers been quick to adopt these practices with these new tools? Have they been quick on the uptake?
Yeah, there's always an element of skepticism, but I would say that farmers typically, they're not tech adverse. We see technology in ag all over the place. Nobody's tech adverse in this industry. We know that we have to be have our arms around technology in order to be successful. One of the things I think we also know, though, that typically farmers are tech impatient. They expect it to work right every time. And so sometimes we see farmers try it on one bin, and then when we have success, they purchase multiple more. In fact, a lot of our sales come from our same customer who tried it once and realized, I'll never have a bin without it.
I would imagine once you had those tools available to you, it would change your worldview of what you can do and the ability to monitor everything. So that makes total sense. Harley, is there anything else you'd like to let our listeners, viewers back in Iowa know about when it comes to what's going on at AGI and specifically the digital side that you're so heavily involved in?
No, I think that wraps it up. I think, the biggest thing is that with remote visibility, with remote monitoring, the ability to have peace of mind. If we boil some of these down, I want the peace of mind that my family's not crawling in a bin. I want the peace of mind that my investment, the thing I work so hard for, is in good condition when I'm ready to sell it. And so sometimes we overlook that, and we try to talk about some of the futuristic things, and I think it's sometimes easier and resonates more with customers to just boil it back to peace of mind.
So where should those potential customers go to learn more?
Yeah, so we have an established dealer network across the Midwest, and you can also find out a lot of information on our AGI website, so aggrowth.com, and you will find information about all of our products from portable augers to grain bins, but specifically a lot of information about what we do digitally to monitor grain.
Harley Janssen with AGI, our guest here today at Farm Progress 2023. Harley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Very interesting conversation. Have a great rest of the show.
You as well. Thank you.
And thank you to Harley Janssen of AGI. Let's turn our attention now to the Ag Weather Outlook. We talked about it a little bit earlier with Tyler Schau during our closing market discussion, but today is going to be the final day of our very, very warm days that we have been dealing with recently, and the cool off is going to begin in a big way tomorrow. In fact, our temperatures are going to be dropping by as much as about 15 degrees around the state of Iowa. And tonight as well, we will cool off just a little bit. And we also have, unfortunately, some of that smoke from wildfires, some of that haze that will be coming into the sky here in the state of Iowa over the next couple of days as well. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see from the National Weather Service, mostly sunny and breezy today. Highs expected 87 to 95. Tonight, partly cloudy with areas of wildfire smoke. That smoke mostly in the western portion of the state. Low temperatures expected 57 to 68. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy with areas of smoke and haze throughout most of the state, and temperatures ranging from 74 to 80 degrees as we will cool down quite significantly from today. And now taking a look at our affiliate weather map for tomorrow. Cherokee, sunny with areas of smoke, high expected around 76. Shenandoah, sunny with haze, high around 80. Des Moines, breezy with haze, then mostly sunny, high around 79. Albia, mostly cloudy and breezy, high of 74. Waterloo, haze and breezy, 79 the high. And Clinton, partly sunny with a high around 80.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well our free twice daily market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.